Hello my students, greetings of the day. Welcome to Bangla Shikha Classroom 2025, an endeavor of Paschim Bongo Samogra Shikha Mission under the Education Department, Government of West Bengal. I am Mita Dotto, Assistant Teacher of Dokhineshwar Sri Sri Sharoda Devi Balika Vidya Mandir. Today, we are going to do the lesson, the play Riders to the Sea by John Millington Synge. This is included in the third semester of your class 12 syllabus. And the same play is also included in your semester 4 class 12 examination, but the difference is that in semester 3 we need to do only the MCQ or multiple choice questions, means you have to answer multiple choice questions only in semester 3. So we will go through the play, the details of it, and to start with, as we do in for every literary piece, we come to know a little about the writer. So here John Millington Synge, he was born in 16th April 1871 and he is popularly known as J.M. Synge. He was an Irish playwright and he was a very key figure in the Irish literary revival. And in the 20th century, he is considered to be one of the greatest dramatists. In 1896, he met William Butler Yeats when he was studying in Paris in Sorbonne University. Yeats inspired him a lot and he gave him a lot of enthusiasm for the Irish Renaissance, and Yeats also advised him to go to the Aran Islands and draw subject from life itself. He advised Synge to go into the Aran Islands, live with the people there, and draw inspiration from their life and write something about them. So his plays were known for the realistic depiction of Irish societies because he lived there. He tried to study the people and hence it included the themes, landscapes and settings from places where he visited during his travels to Ireland. Synge suffered from Hodgkin's disease and he died at a very young age of 37 years from Hodgkin-related cancer in March 1909. So we need to know a little about the background of this play. Riders to the Sea was written during the Irish literary Renaissance, a period when Irish literature sought to celebrate Irish culture and nationalism. And as we learned that Yeats inspired Synge to write and be involved in the Irish literary Renaissance. So the setting of this play is the Aran Islands, where Synge lived and he observed the culture and livelihood of the people there. He observed the language of the people, how they spoke, and hence you can see that Synge has used the unique Hiberno-English dialect of the Aran Islands. In his play, we will see it when we read that the lines and the sentences, they are not always grammatically correct. And this incorrectness has helped him in capturing the poetic and natural pulse of the people, how they actually originally spoke. He tried to represent that language in the play. The nature and man conflict is the theme that the play centers around. It's the struggle of human beings against the power of nature. Particularly here in Synge's play, it is the sea. But we all are aware, you all are aware, students, that how powerless we are in the grip of nature. You have seen dangerous storms sweeping away everything, earthquakes destroying people. So we human beings are very small to this power of nature, and it's an inescapable force. We cannot escape it in any way. The theme of loss and grief here is represented through the character of Moria, who is the protagonist or heroine, the tragic heroine of this play. And Synge here has shown that how, in spite of enduring great losses, she has lost all the male members of her family to the sea. But yet, at the end, we see that she has accepted her fate, and she says that every one of us has to die. So, death we should accept and go on. So, this tragedy also shows us how, through the theme of loss and grief, Moria attains a realization of the mortality of human beings. So the culture and historical context of this place, here the elements of the Aran Islands, how their adaptability is important, how they adapt to the hard life and hardships of their livelihood, and yet they are so resilient in the face of adversity. So this is the background of the play, and we see that the play is set in a cottage on the Aran Islands off the west coast of Ireland. The play doesn't specifically state any date, but it is thought to be written around 1904 when it was actually published. It, as we already discussed, it depicts the harsh realities of Irish life and their dependence on the sea. Even if the sea is dangerous to them, even if the sea takes away their life, they have to depend on the sea. It revolves around Moria, the elderly woman, and her family, who are caught in the relentless cycle of the sea's power. The power of the sea has taken away lives in different forms. It is not always by drowning, but it has taken life in different forms. So here the sea is portrayed as a powerful force that causes suffering and death, and shows the people as being very helpless to its or against its mightiness. The strong bonds of the family and the profound impact of the loss is also portrayed, as we see Moria and his daughters and her daughters, and also some people around in their locality. They come together to mourn and to share the grief together. That shows of their strong bonding. The inevitability of death leads Moria to accept her fate even in the face of immense grief. So we see that she resigns to fate, and all of them together are very mild in their reaction, because they know that life has to go on, and also because they have nothing more to lose. To mention one of the greatest factors or characteristic of this play, Riders to the Sea is considered to be one of the greatest one-act plays in dramatic literature. Now we need to get introduced to the characters of the play. Moria, as we already discussed, is an old widow, and she is the head of the family, consisting of a son and two daughters who are alive. She is the central character in the play when we see the opening of the play. Two of her sons, one is missing, one is alive. We are not informed of Michael's death yet, but before that, four of his sons, four of her sons, her husband and husband's father, all have died in the sea. Then we come across Kathleen and Nora. Kathleen is the elder daughter. She is about 20 years old and Nora is the younger daughter. Bartley is the living son whose death by drowning is the primary incident of this play. All the other incidents have already happened, all the deaths have already happened. The only death that we see on stage or the whole play is about is the death of Bartley. Michael, who is Bartley's brother, was drowned in the sea 9 days ago. At the onset of this play, we see that Michael has been missing since 9 days and his body was not recovered when the play opens. But later it was revealed that the body has been found and buried in the distant north. That we will come to know as we enter into the play. The young priest who gave the bundle of clothes which was supposed to be Michael's to Kathleen and Nora, and who was expected to prevent Bartley from sailing to the mainland to sell his horses, in spite of Moria not wanting him to go because he was the last living son of the family. And for this young priest, he is mentioned, but he is never really seen present on the stage. So all these characters, my students, are very important to you because when you answer the multiple choice questions, knowing these characters properly will help you answer them in the correct manner. So there are more different characters of the play who are not really involved much but who are mentioned. That is Colum Shawn, Stephen Feety, Eamon Simon. They are some of the villagers who are known by Bartley and mentioned in different ways. There's an old man who was to assist Eamon Simon in making a coffin for Bartley after Bartley dies at the end of the play. Stephen and Shawn are two of Moria's sons who had already died in a stormy night in the sea, and they were found at the Bay of Gregory of the Golden Mouth. Seamus is another son of Moria who was drowned along with his father, but the body was never found. Patch was another son who was drowned when his boat overturned. Bride Dara, there is a mention of Bride Dara who is reported to have seen the apparition of a dead. So there is a reference to Bride Dara here as a premonition of the death of Bartley, which is going to happen. Bride Dara, I will explain to you later as reference why it is considered to be a premonition of death. So these are the important places that you should remember. Off the west of Ireland is the place where the play takes place in. It is a group of islands known as the Aran Islands, and this particular island is identified as the island of Irishman. Donegal is a country situated in the extreme north of Ireland, and the body of Michael was recovered from here. Galway is another place in Ireland, and Bartley, as we will see, he was to go to a fair, the Galway fair, to sell 2 horses of it. It is a market town where the islanders buy clothes, etc. And it is a market where Bartley was to go to sell his 2 horses. Connemara is also a town in Galway in Ireland. Bartley refers to a bit of road which he bought from there. And Gregory of Golden Mouth, this is the name where the bodies of this is the name of a bay where the bodies of Stephen and Sean, the sons of Moria, were found when they died by drowning. Now we go into the summary, how the play proceeds. This is a short play which we already now know by now that it deals with the misfortune of a fisherman's family residing in a cottage very near to the seashore. It is the island of Inishmaan, which is the middle island among a group of 3 islands in the Aran Islands, where Singe stayed, lived with the people there, studied their livelihood and drew his subject matter from their lives and the happenings in their lives. So it describes the natural calamities brought by the sea to the inhabitants, and it is a story told to Singe by one of the inhabitants of this island. And when the play opens, we see Kathleen, the elder daughter, she is busy in the kitchen. Nora brings a bundle of clothes which has been taken away off from a man who died by drowning, and the body was washed ashore in Donegal, and the people who got the body gave a fair and good burial to the body. The priest had given the clothes which has been taken from that body to Nora for identification, because we already know that Michael, their brother, was missing for 9 days. And so when a body was recovered, everybody wanted to know whether that body belonged to Michael. So the family was very grief-stricken, and in the midst of it, Bartley was to go to the mainland, and the family was very tense about it. They were very worried about it because Bartley was the last surviving son in the family. So if he goes to the horse fair when the weather was also not so good, so Kathleen said that the priest may be asking or requesting Bartley or preventing him from going to that fair. But Nora said that the priest won't do that. Why? Because the priest, being a holy person, has great faith in God and thinks that Moria has suffered so much of sorrow. So God won't give her more sorrow and leave her destitute by taking away her last surviving son. So in this context, the bundle of clothes they wanted to open, but their mother, who was resting in the other room, they did not want to tell her about it before confirming the death, because she was already grief-stricken and the view of these clothes may make her more nervous. So when Moria enters the kitchen, they put the bundle of clothes, they hide the bundle of clothes in the turf loft. Turf loft is a place high near the roof where they store some things for fuel. And what they did is they took a ladder and put the clothes there. And when Moria asked what they are doing there, they told that they are trying to bring down some fuel for making a cake for Bartley, who will be going to the Galway Fair and reaching there at night, maybe getting no food there. So they need to prepare some food for Bartley. And they were trying to bring out some fuel from the turf loft for that process. So we next see that Moria too opposes Bartley's going to the horse fair because the storm was already raging very much. It was already very strong, and Bartley was not listening to her. Bartley asked Kathleen to give him a rope he brought from Connemara and said that he wants to sell his red mare and Michael's grey horse in Galway Fair. So mark here that Bartley wanted to sell his red mare, and there was a grey horse, a grey pony, which we will refer to later. So both the horses he wanted to sell in the Galway Fair. So Bartley ignores Maria's objections and tells Kathleen to take care of the sheep and sell the pigs if they get a good price for them. And Maria says that if Bartley too dies, then there would be just nobody left to provide food to the family, because all the male members would be dead by then. But Bartley listens to nobody. He takes his purse and tobacco, and he says that he would be back in maximum 4 days if the winds are favorable. So we will see that in the lesson he says, I'll be back in perhaps 2 days, I'll be perhaps back in 3 days, and it will be maximum 4 days if the winds are bad. So he is just not ready to listen to anybody. And he takes his things and he seeks God's blessing for the family and leaves. Now when he leaves, Maria was so much grief-stricken that he fails to bless Bartley before he leaves. Now this is seen as a premonition that Maria anticipates that Bartley will not return, and that's why she perhaps fails to bless Bartley when he goes away. And among all these, the cake that was being prepared for Bartley, the sisters forget to give that to him. So when they realize that, they ask Maria to take the cake for Bartley and go near Springwell from where Bartley will pass and give him the cake there, deliver him the cake there. Kathleen also asked Nora to give the stick Michael bought from Connemara, and she becomes sad. So Michael had bought a stick from Connemara. So as Maria is a elderly, old, grief-stricken woman who will walk all the way to Springwell to deliver the cake to Bartley, Kathleen tells Nora to give that stick to him, and Maria becomes sad. Why? Because it is usually that elder people die first and the younger ones use their things. But here it's just the opposite. Michael, though not confirmed death yet, is missing, and Maria is very sad that she has to use her son's thing, a son who is not yet found and not yet confirmed death, but not confirmed also that he is alive. So what the sisters plan to do is, they will open the bundle of clothes, they will bring it from the turf loft and then identify it, because Maria was no more there. So they brought it, and the body and the clothes were identified by the 56 stitches in the socks that they made it for their brother. That's why they could identify it, and they were both sad after the confirmation of the thing that the bundle of clothes belonged to Michael. They were mourning that Michael met a very sad death in the sea, where nothing except the black ugly birds were present. There was nobody present, nobody near and dear ones. So it was a very sad death which Michael faced. But Moria was not yet informed about the fact. And when Moria came back, she was still with the cake in her hand, and the sisters were confused why she did not deliver the food to Bartley. And she was lamenting and said that she saw a terrible vision. She saw that Bartley was riding on the red mare, and Michael was following him, sitting on the grey horse and wearing some new clothes, new shoes. So she tells that Bartley is also not going to return, and because she doesn't know of Michael's death yet, she tells that the coffin, the white woods that have been brought, the white planks of woods that have been brought for Michael's coffin, they should prepare a coffin for Bartley now. Now next, after this vision that was spoken about to the two sisters, they also started lamenting because there was totally a negative and pessimistic atmosphere displayed by Moria himself, and after the narration of her vision by the two sisters also. And Moria started recollecting the previous deaths in the family. She remembered how her husband lived along in the cottage with his father, and she had lost all of them to the sea. Stephen and Sean drowned in the sea in a big storm. Simon, his father, and his grandfather were lost in a dark night and their bodies were not recovered. Patch died when his boat overturned. First 2, then 3, then 4 women came to her house silently, making a sign of cross. Then some men brought the body of Patch wrapped in a red cloth and water dripping from it. So these all are descriptions of how the previous deaths happened. And Moria, after seeing the terrible vision of Bartley in the red mare and Michael following him in the grey pony, started remembering and recalling all these past tragedies. And unfortunately, the scene repeated itself. Bartley dies by being thrown into the sea by the grey horse, and the strong wave hit his body against the white rocks, and Bartley too died. So, when the body of Bartley was brought, Moria was very, very confused. Why was she confused? Because she was already recalling the visions, recalling the times when and how the bodies of the ones who were previously dead were coming one by one. And then when Bartley's body also comes in, she is very confused and thinks it to be Michael's body. She is confused whether it is Patch's body or it is Michael's body, because Patch's body was brought in the same way and Michael was missing. So, Bartley he never had in her mind, because Bartley had just gone to the fair. So, Bartley's death did not come to her mind and she was confused whether the body that was brought in was Patch's or Michael's. So, now the scene is repeated and Moria faces the death of her last surviving son also. And now what happens is Moria is free from the worries. Why free from the worries? Because After she sees Bartley's death, or after she faces Bartley's death, there is nobody else that the sea can take away from her. She neither needs to be afraid of the roaring sea nor bring holy water in the dark nights after Samhain for performing prayers and rituals. So after Samhain is a holy harvest festival, and bringing water the night after the festival was considered to be very holy. And Maurya, in spite of facing death again and again, she still had faith on God that prayers and sprinkling of holy water may do good to her. But now that every one of the male members are lost, she doesn't need to do any more prayers because the sea can do no more harm to her. So we see the coffin box being prepared for Bartley, and in the meantime, she was also informed of Michael's death. When she saw the vision of Michael riding in a grey pony behind Bartley, it was that time when the sisters told her mother that Michael had already died, but the only consolation was that he received a very good burial by some men there. So Maurya, we see, is tired of lamenting, she is grief-stricken, and when she gives the planks for making the coffee, it was seen that she forgot the nails, and the men who were making the coffin expressed their surprise that how could Maurya forget nails for making a coffee after she had to make so many coffins in her life. So the sisters then, they say that Maurya is old and grief-stricken, that's why perhaps she made this miss. And Maurya, we see at the end, is tired of lamenting and she surrenders herself to fate. The play comes to an end with Maurya's submission before fate and mortality of human beings. She says at the end that everybody of us should be dying. So we need to accept the death that has already happened. And she consoles herself by saying that she would not face any more deaths which she has to lament for or grieve for. So as I was telling you about the reference of bride Dara, in Riders to the Sea, Maurya, the mother, compares her fear of Bartley's death to the story of bride Dara, who is a Celtic goddess, who saw the vision of a dead man with a child in his arm. And later, this bride Dara, she lost her son in a battle. So this allusion, or this figurative mention suggests that when Maurya is seeing that, it just anticipates the death of Bartley, which is going to happen, similar to how bride Dara's son met his fate. And Samhain, as I told you, it's getting holy water in the dark nights after Samhain. It highlights the blending of pagan and Christian traditions of the Aran Islands. So, Maurya's familiarity with both the pagan and Christian practices are seen here. So, what is important is the grief has made her believe in all the sacred beliefs from whatever religion or whatever path it is from. So it is a blend of beliefs, and whatever she thinks may protect her family from the grip of the sea, she is offering or making that rituals. But still we see that nothing could save them from the destructive power of the sea. So now we come to the multiple choice type questions that you are to answer in your semester 3 examination. Some are simple multiple choice questions. A sentence will be given or a question will be given and you have to choose the correct and accordingly answer in your OMR sheets. Mark that place. Here in yellow I have highlighted the answers. Please go through it with concentration and note the different type of multiple type questions that may come. Next is the fill in the blank type of MCQ. So here Kathleen is a girl of about, you have to choose the correct answer and mark in the OMR sheet accordingly. Next is the column matching type. So here in column B the characters are given, here and in column B the activities are given. So and the choices are given. You have to read the answers with full attention because you all may be knowing the answers, but a little hurry, a little lack of attention may make you choose the wrong answer. So here Moria saw a fearful vision. So 1 will go with C. 2, Kathleen, she is seen spinning the wheel most of the time in the play. Then Nora, she gave the bundle for, Nora brought the bundle in the cottage. The young priest gave the bundle for identification to Nora. So here option B is the correct one. So as many numbers and alphabets are written, be very careful in choosing the answer. Next is the assertion reasoning type MCQ, where see the number 1, Bertley was looking for the bit of new rope. What is the reason for it? There are 4 options given. You have to choose the correct answer. Here it is answer A. This is one type of assertion reasoning type MCQ. The second one is there are two sentences given. Kathleen and Nora hid the bundle in the turf loft and they wanted to hide it from Moria. So here both A and R are wrong. Both assertion and reasoning are wrong, but that is not true. Kathleen and Nora really hid the bundle in the turf loft, so that is also true, and they wanted to hide it from Moria, that is also true. So here both A and R are correct. Sorry, there's one mistake I see there. It is A, B, and then again B is given. Underneath it will be C. So answer will be B, but after B, another B is written instead of C. Students, I'm sorry, please make a correction. That will be C, but the answer is B. Both A and R are correct. Sentence relationship type of MCQ. So this is the relationship between two sentences. In the big world, the old people do be leaving the things after them for their son and children. This is line from the lesson, from the play. In this place, it is the young man do be leaving things behind them, do be old. So here the answers that are given is statement A is the reason of statement B. No, this line is telling about when Moria is given the stick of Michael. So I mentioned you there also that there is a contradiction, that what happens usually younger people get things from older people who are no more or who have died, but here it is the opposite. So B is the correct sentence. Statement B contradicts statement A. What is said in statement A is just the opposite of what is said in statement B. So another is, there are three statements. This is statement A, B and C, and you have to choose the correct relationship between the three sentences. So here as it goes, this is the one boat going for 2 weeks or beyond it. This is when Bartley was leaving for the Galway fair. I must go now quickly. The fair will be a good fair for horses. So here A is correct. Statement A and C are the causes of statement B. So what does statement B said? I must go now quickly. We saw that Bartley was in a hurry to go to the fair. Why? Because there are not many boats, or there are not many boats which go very frequently to Galway. So he must be quick, because in another 2 weeks no boat will be going. So he must be going away in the boat that was about to go. So he was quick, and of course, why is he going? Because the fair will be a good fair for horses, and he wanted to get good prices for selling the 2 horses that he wanted to sell. So these are the rearrangement types. 4 sentences are given, and again the rearrangement types are, options are given. Here also you have to be very careful in choosing the correct answer, because you may be knowing what comes after what, but choosing from the option, as because there are very numericals in front of you, you may get a little bit confused. So it's very easy, but what you need is a good deal of concentration and of course practice. And what is most important is reading the play again and again and knowing all the details about it, knowing all the facts, the statistics, the names of places, whatever I have shown you in the slides, also the events, everything you have to go through and keep in your mind very thoroughly. These are the true and false types. These are the ones that you are very much acquainted with from your smaller classes also. So go through it. The answers are given. This is the case and concept. This is also not about facts, but what concepts you get from the lesson. So this also you have to read very carefully and answer. So thank you for your attention, students. Have a good learning session. Read the play thoroughly and hope you answer all the questions correctly. And to end it all, may everyone everywhere be safe. We pray for the safety of the seafarers everywhere. May they get the strength to fight all adversities and be at peace with their families. So, students, what matters a lot is the human characters in all of us. So, may humanity arise in all of us, and may everyone everywhere be safe. Thank you so much.